We wrapped up the year with a heck of a weird December. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Gameranx, weird gaming stories of December 2019. Starting off at number 10, it had to happen eventually, right? Gamers had to become parents and had to start saying things like, back in my day, we didn't use those internet guides. A Japanese Twitter user by the name of Rokutose decided that she wants to set a standard that her kids have to live up to. To translate what she said on Twitter, I just can't allow my kids to look up RPG guides on the internet. The other day, I got upset and told them, did you talk to everyone in the village like you're supposed to? It's the first time in my life I've ever said those words. I still can't forget the excitement of learning, for example, of a merchant who only gives you the options of buying or selling items if you talk to him from across the counter, suddenly gives you an important hint if you enter the shop from the back entrance and stand next to him. My children, your mother believes that these things are the true joy of playing an RPG. Which, yeah, that is true. I've played many an RPG, and that is the true joy of them. That whole, oh, I should have done that moment. It did create a bit of an argument, however, online, in that a lot of people said modern game design just doesn't mesh with these ideals. To that I will say, sorry, modern game design is more than happy to tell you everything you need to know about the game, in excruciating detail, to the point where it is sometimes very annoying. Games are designed to be beaten, I'm sorry. It's just the truth. I don't want to side with her too much because I don't think that using game guides is actually bad, but I think that's a bad argument against it. Moving on to number 9, what do you get when you combine Dragon Ball Z and baseball? Well, I'll tell you what you get. You get this Dragon Ball Z baseball equipment, but I think the appropriate next thought is why? What about this is necessary? And I'm going to go ahead and say this. Yeah, it's not important that everything in the world be entirely necessary in order to have fun with it. But when you see all 7 Dragon Balls as baseballs being sold as a collection, it's a little puzzling. In some ways, it's kind of cool, but it's so unrelated to baseball that it's not even funny. And the point is to smack these Dragon Balls with a bat and make them fly far away from you. Or maybe the point is to collect them. I don't know. I would just collect them. If I liked Dragon Ball Z and baseball a lot, which I'm sure there's crossover between those two things, even though it's probably not the most natural crossover of all time. Moving on to number 8, suddenly, there are tons of gaming shoes this month. I don't know what happened, if they realized that gamers need shoes too, or if they realized that they could charge more for gamer shoes. I don't really understand why, hence the whole this is a weird story thing. But there's ninja shoes now, the game streaming person, there's shoes that rep his brand. Which, alright, sure. I cannot see myself ever getting something like that, and not because it's ninja, but more along the lines of it seems like an utterly purposeless product. No ninja hate here. It's not just ninja though, it's like Pokemon. There's Pokemon shoes that are not particularly good. They're bland. Perhaps the weirdest of all, however, is gaming socks, which seem to kind of be a combination between a sock and a shoe. I maybe could see myself wearing them, trying them, except for the fact that they cost $105. I just can't see myself paying for that. That's dumb. Moving on to number 7, somebody designed and 3D printed a functional replica of the Metro Exodus Universal Charger. Now, it's obviously not gorgeous or anything. It's still a 3D printed thing. It's very obvious. But it works. When you pull the trigger on it, it actually turns on an LED. It generates that energy. And while I'm not going to say to you that it definitely is the most useful thing you've ever seen in your entire life, it's very cool. And at number 6, somebody figured out that you can actually use your real-life pet to make your Pokemon, kind of a virtual pet, more powerful through the friendship stat, which is available through playing with your virtual pet. Now, the way you play with Pokemon in the new Pokemon game is by either shaking around the Joy-Con or using the analog stick to actually play with them with a toy like you would a real cat in real life. This clearly got some folks thinking. Twitter user HotateA_XR figured out a very clever way of doing this by attaching a cat toy to the Joy-Con, hanging the Joy-Con from a string, and allowing the cat to beat it around. This made the toy in the game shake around and the friendship level go up, making the Pokemon more powerful in battle. I would not have thought of this. Moving on to number 5, Tesla vehicles have over the last few months been becoming the most expensive game console of all time. But perhaps one of the coolest things that has just happened is that they now have Stardew Valley on them. If you need to stop at a Supercharger to charge up your car, guess what? You've got Stardew Valley. Now, I don't know exactly how useful this is for every single person in the world. If I bought a Tesla myself, I probably wouldn't want to play video games in the dashboard. If I really wanted to sit in my Tesla and play games, I'd probably bring a Switch. But if I was stopping at a Supercharger, I'd probably use that time to go to the bathroom or get some food or something. That being said, Stardew Valley is a definitely good way to pass a half hour while you're charging a car. Stardew Valley is like the best time waster ever. But in a lot of respects, I mean, I can think of other places I'd rather be playing Stardew Valley than in a parking lot while my car juices up. But, you know. Number 4, you notice how pause is often not actually pause in video games anymore? Well, a developer by the name of Jase decided to solve that problem. I wouldn't call the solution super weird or anything. It's a program that essentially will pause any application and stop it from moving forward, making it so that you can pause literally any cutscene or game at any time entirely. We'll include a link. We want to say to be careful when installing it. It is a piece of independent software, and although it's really not a malicious thing, you never really know how something like this is going to interact with your system. But as far as I'm concerned, this person is doing the Lord's work. They have almost nobody following them on Twitter, so you should follow them at MadeByJase, Jase, and even consider becoming their patron at patreon.com/MadeByJase. Good work, Jase. This is a really useful thing. Thank you. And moving on to number 3, a congressman from California got in trouble for using campaign funds to buy a lot of Steam games. Specifically $1,300 worth of games on Steam. That's not all he used his campaigns for. In fact, that's actually pretty small potatoes and probably wouldn't have gotten him into too much trouble. But when campaign finance sees something like that, they look into other stuff and found that he had misappropriated about $150,000 worth of the campaign funds. He spent a lot of money on very mundane things, according to the report. From groceries to movie tickets to fast food to Legos to Play-Doh to utility bills, but also bought overseas vacations, which included plane tickets for their pet rabbits. You can't be doing that. They probably just ask for the money back, but when it's $150,000, you don't get away with that. It probably sucks for you, but you don't get away with it. Hope it was worth having your rabbits with you in Monaco or wherever. And at number 2, a Jesus game came out, and really, it's a strange looking game. I'm not just saying like it's automatically weird to have a Jesus game. I mean, it almost assures you that it's going to be weird in that it's going to be a Jesus game. But in theory, you could make a game that isn't that weird. But this one looks weird. It's a first-person Jesus simulator where you walk around and hold your hands up at a lot of stuff, and it does things. Final boss looks like it might be Satan, although I'm not 100% sure how you fight him, if you fight him. But I do know you get up to washing feet and looking at your own hands, which have nails through them on the cross. What I like about it is that it bills itself as a highly realistic simulation game, and it's not. I mean, graphically, it's really actually not bad. It actually is kind of a decent looking game. But highly realistic simulation game? Come on. And finally, at number 1, Pringles build a gaming headset that feeds you Pringles. Now, you can't buy it. It's something that they made basically as a gimmick to get attention on the internet, and very clearly it has worked as we are talking about it right now. So I'm not going to pretend it didn't fulfill its purpose. However, does that mean it's not weird? No, it's weird. We're going to comment on this thing one way or the other, whether it's what they want us to do or not. I do want to say I'm personally quite happy it's not a real product. That would cause me to think that the decay of society has reached a much more advanced stage than I originally did. But hey, some pair of headphones somewhere can feed you potato chips. That's a sentence that I really just said and wasn't lying or joking. So there's that. What was weird in your December, gamers? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. And if you like this video, don't forget to click the like button. And if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is a subscription. So click subscribe and don't forget to enable all notifications. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on Gameranx.